Welcome to the Whiskey Roundtable. We are your hosts,
Big G.
Karen Helen Keller.
Doug Dunbar.
Christopher Snyder.
Ta-da!
Yes, we have a special guest tonight. We have the esteemed Christopher Britton Snyder with us tonight.
What did you say? Britton?
That's his middle name.
That's my middle name, Britton.
Yeah.
Are you gonna, I was hoping you were going to use your Scottish voice.
My middle name, Britton, and that's quite apropos for this evening's broadcast, wouldn't you say?
Except Britain, isn't it Irish? Or?
Oh, you
Just roll with it,
You've
son.
given away my
Anyway.
secret. He's given away my secret.
Anyway.
What do you
Well,
do?
I'm 1/4 Gib, G-I-B-B, Gib,
Yeah.
which is very, very Scottish. So.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, that's why I like it. We have Zach is back again,
Zach is back.
once again.
Zach
And we
was
got
great to-
Sidecar back.
And
Sidecar
I was
in
getting to
all the way
that.
from New
Sidecar,
York.
all the way
What's
from
up,
Buffalo,
dog?
New York.
Randy.
2 hours.
Quarantine for
He's
2
getting tired.
hours,
He's
that's
getting
all
tired
I'm
of
saying.
He's
Randy.
all New Yorkified.
Yeah.
So,
Where's your gold chains?
yeah, where's your gold chains?
Can't
I see
afford
you
those.
got.
I'm working on it. I'm waiting for more
You
people
want
to die.
to borrow one? I got one. I got one right here. Now.
Oh, it's not big enough.
So I haven't seen Ralph in like a couple of months. And it's
been nice, hasn't
it
it?
has been nice. It has been. I have a lot more cigars. My food bill went down. I'm not throwing lighters away on a regular basis. That's all good.
I haven't seen him since March.
So I see him, and he walks
Lucky
in, and
man.
the first thing I see is he's got this Frankie Valley haircut.
Yeah.
What's up, Frankie?
It's very becoming.
Told you.
It's the first thing I
wasn't
noticed.
Huh?
I paid for it too.
I bet you did. But so Sidecar brought me a very special gift today.
What
so,
was
I
that?
like you still.
So, which I was completely taken off guard, but
You should have seen him.
I was very, very happy. It was the highlight of my day. Thank you very much, Sidecar. I love you.
What are you
We've
smoking?
been, me and Sidecar, we've been
You're
pretty
not
tight.
smoking one?
What
I'm not
is it?
smoking yet. I will after the cigar.
You gotta take one
I
up
am
to the
smoking. I am smoking a
Not
very rare, obsolete cigar that I actually have a box of, and I refuse to open them. But this is a La Flor Dominicana Andalusian Bowl. This
No
cigar
Toro,
is
no
no
Toro.
longer.
No Toro.
Toro.
So this is very nice. This is a medium to full body cigar, and I think if you can find them anymore, I want to say they're probably close to $50 to $100, depending on where you
Well,
find
we'll
them.
go ahead and say it. If you want to say that, go ahead.
It was hard to switch the wrappers from white out of those.
So I said, I promised Ralph a Sidecar. I promised him that I would smoke one today on the show,
Yeah, oh yeah.
and I will.
You will.
And the other one is going right in the vault, right into my humidor
should
vault
be. As
of
it
the
should
all the infamous, obsolete, no longer made cigars, along with my Sopranos and
Oh yeah.
my Cohibas. And
No,
all
you
that.
opened your Sopranos on New Year's Eve this year.
Well,
Yeah,
I
they're
still-
good too.
I still have a couple boxes left. No
They're
big
good.
deal.
They're really good.
Well, thank you. Anyway, sorry, kids.
Did everybody have a good week?
We did have a good, busy week.
Yeah.
Very busy week
Yes.
for me.
Yes.
I'm gonna just not say anything right now.
Oh, okay.
My weekend is my week was going to be a lot easier than my weekend is going to be. So, got a lot going on this week.
Yeah,
I
you
have a
guys-
question as we're getting started.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay? Haven't been here in a while.
Right.
When Karen introduced herself, you said, my name's Karen Helen Keller.
Yes.
What is the story behind that? I need to know. I just don't know.
So I'm a newbie to whiskeys, bourbons, and the like, and I'm a beer girl. That's what I drink. That's what I like. But I like to talk, so I'm here, and I like to drink, so I'm here. But
Important qualification.
when Greg got into bourbons and whiskeys, I went out and bought him just some things that I thought, oh, okay, this is okay. I'm gonna buy this.
Oh, look at the lettering on this. I bought you this. I love
It's
the lettering.
pretty.
That's
I like
pretty.
the label.
And it ended up being some of the best whiskey he's ever had.
Amen.
So I got like Dalmore cigar malt.
Fantastic.
I got
Jack Daniels,
Jack
Rusted
Daniels,
Rusted
Rye.
Rusted
Rye.
Rye. Yeah. That
So the-
was amazing.
yeah.
Some scotches and bourbons combined. And
That you would just, you didn't know. You
I
just
don't
like
know.
the
I
look of the
I was like-
packaging or whatever.
Well, it was. How do I say it?
Well, the Dalmore said cigar malt.
So-
I'm like, he likes cigars. It's got to be good, right?
Okay.
Right.
in
And
this
I was
area.
asking
It's
people
kind of the
about
blind
it, and
squirrel.
everyone was like, well, he won't be disappointed. But I think the people that I was asking at the time really didn't know what I had, and so I bought it for him, and he was in no hurry to open any of the bottles. So finally got him to open the bottles, and he was just like, oh
So
my God.
we drank those bottles. We drank them, gone. Then we find out that they were no longer being made.
Oh,
So
hate it when
Sidecar and my brother Steven down in Texas, they have found all that stuff for me, and now I have a good supply.
reserves.
Correct.
So Helen Keller was a
She
whiskey aficionado, and you've sort of
Didn't even
followed.
blindly picking.
Ah,
so Helen
okay.
Keller.
Just
I
blind.
got it.
I did marry you,
That's-
honey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
too.
All right.
Yeah,
All
too.
right.
Oh,
All right.
shit.
Deaf and blind.
So I was thinking, what if there were no hypothetical questions?
Well, what if they're great minds think alike?
All right, then.
People say that to me all the time. I have no idea what
Okay,
they're talking about.
so it's time to introduce our guest more officially. I've known Chris since junior high. He was one of
It's
my
like 20 years ago.
and yeah.
I think we have a flashback of that.
It's actually
Oh,
40.
so I met
40
Chris
So
in
you
junior
guys
high.
when Jesus was a child.
Like
Yeah.
45 years ago.
Karen is now going to just show our audience a picture of Chris and
Oh,
I.
my. Here
when
we go.
we were our summer after 10th grade. So you can see we've not changed a bit.
Oh my God! Talk about a couple of cheerleaders.
Oh, my
I
God.
think that was probably 9th grade.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are those your
It's-
sister's
It might have
shorts
been,
you're
it might have
wearing?
been 8th grade.
It has to be at least ninth
No.
grade because I didn't
Your mom know
in
you
eighth
went out of the
grade.
house
No,
with those
those
shorts on?
were mine.
Those are nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys got beat up a lot when you were in school.
Oh my gosh. Anyway.
That is a great picture.
It is a
So,
great picture.
It's crazy. I mean, you sent that to me recently.
Besides being one of my best friends, he was the best man at my wedding and almost of equal importance. He introduced me to single malt Scottish whiskey
Amen.
sometime right after college, which totally opened up my world and eventually led to all of this. So anyway,
The
Chris
long
is,
and winding road.
Chris is one of the head partners of a highly successful insurance and investment business he co-founded in the late 1980s. Anyway, Chris,
Nice.
tell us your whiskey story
Well-
and how your whiskey journey. Tell us about all
Yeah,
that.
my whiskey journey. Wow. I don't know if you want to hear all of that, but I'll give you the highlights. Actually, my mom turned me on to single malt whiskey when I was 15. So it would have been right around that time that picture was taken. Okay? And where she had quite a bit of Scottish in her, and my sister was studying abroad and in England, and went up to Scotland and bought some gifts and brought my mother back this bottle of Glenfiddich in 1974. So
Oh,
this is
wow.
before in the U.S. like we didn't have single malt whiskey. This wasn't something you could just go and buy. This
Right.
was a rarity. It was a special thing. So my mother turned me on to a little nip of Glenfiddich every once in a while, as a teenager.
And she would have it just like once a year for a
Oh
special
God, yeah,
occasion.
yeah.
or
This was
something.
like hidden away in a
Yeah.
closet somewhere, and she'd bring it out like, okay, this is my special gift from Scotland that your sister brought for me. Okay, so long story short, one day my mom and dad were away, my guys were at the house, and we're looking around for liquor, and I find this thing, and we downed it like boom. Okay.
No.
Now, my mom was a fiery person. Like, when she got upset with you, like, you knew it. In fact, Doug can tell you a story about
Saw her chase him with a broom and literally knocking stuff off the walls, trying to smack him.
Because I made
Swat
her
him
mad,
like a
and
fly.
she was like, like...
She had the Irish temper. That her Irish came out then.
Right. That whole Scottish-Irish thing like that. All right, so... when she found out that I had raided her little secret stash of this precious single malt and just downed it like in a day with my buddies, she didn't get loud and she didn't get aggressive. She got very quiet.
That's when you get worried.
I was very worried. She was very hurt. She was beyond anger. She went straight into hurt. And I was.
She was raising a thief.
Oh wow! No, it's that she wasn't going to get any more whiskey. That was really it.
So
I mean,
fast forward.
way
so
in second place
10
was
years
my son's a thief.
After you got out of jail, go ahead. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah, so these guys said, well, you should have gone and bought her, and it's like you can't. There's no way. First of all, I was like 17 when I did the deed, and then, at that time in the late 70s, you couldn't just go to the liquor store and buy single malt. You couldn't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I couldn't replace it, and anyway, it taught me a good lesson. It's like, so anyway. But she did turn me on to single malt.
Did you ever replace her bottle?
I did. Actually, yes. In fact, many, many times when I moved back from California and sort of was able to spend a lot of time with her and my dad before they passed away in Pennsylvania, where we're from, I did have lots of time with her, sipping some single malts,
Nice.
many different ones. Yes,
Very
that's a
nice.
great question.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got that guilt all off of me now. Like, he just, gee, he just...
It's
Oh,
therapy.
G will do that.
Right, he
for
just
you.
like
G
brought it
will do
out.
that
Like,
for
okay,
you.
I'm good.
That's
That's
awesome.
funny.
I'm good.
That's awesome.
So Lindsay is
God bless you,
saying.
mother.
Lindsay
yeah,
is
here's the
saying
mom.
the
Here's
whiskey.
to Helen.
Hurricane
Hurricane
Helen.
Hurricane Helen.
Oh
There
dear.
you
Amen.
go.
And she earned that.
Clinkety
name.
clink.
All right.
So Lindsay is saying the whiskey wizard would not exist without Chris.
That's right. That's
Oh.
true. We don't really know that for sure, but
Interesting theory. Interesting
The,
theory.
the Whiskey
He-
Wizard show is going to be
he-
very good today. Pay attention. It's
He's,
cool.
he
Very
brought
novel.
me to single malt whiskey, and that was my entree into the whiskey world. So
Well, I remember when we interviewed, and got rid of some dirty luggage. But
Greg.
we interviewed, and
my first interview.
Your first-
It actually took me 3 interviews. to
right.
get
But
on.
we interviewed. I interviewed you. You were actually running out of town. We were on the phone for probably another phone interview, and Doug made it very clear that he is a Scotch guy. Made it very clear. But
Very proud of you, Doug.
But
He's so proud.
He's actually trans bourbon, if you will.
He is. He's trans. He's a switch hitter. He's a switch hitter.
You
He
know
is.
what? I love the fact that I don't have to pick one or the other. So I love my bourbons and my ryes, and yeah, single
Well,
malts. If I can only have one, I would still have to say single malt whiskey. But it's good that I don't have to make that choice.
I'll tell you what, it was to you about him. It was a great pick. He was a great pick, and he's brought a lot to the show. And it's really, and I've met some great people because of him, as well. So
Who?
you know.
Like who?
Now I don't ever want to see that picture, so you guys know. But anyway, but it's been good ever since, and we've never looked back, which is cool. So.
Chris and I still argue about where that picture was taken. But
Well, so one of my favorite
tanning.
I think
stories
that's what
about
it
Chris, and even though this is the second time I've ever met him, but anyway, is when we were doing we updated everything. We updated our whole platform, everything. We changed so much stuff around. Zach came in and as our producer, and he did all kinds of stuff, and Doug and everybody, Karen, and I told him how to do it. And
Good job too, Graham.
so if you remember, so we were doing test shows.
Yeah.
And we had a great show, okay? And after the show, and we're all like clapping, it was all good and everything else. And Karen says, I forgot to hit the start button.
yeah, Chris helped us do our first our
live
dress
we did,
rehearsal.
Our
I
dress
guess.
rehearsal.
Yeah.
We did our first show.
And it was a
so-
great story.
and
That
It
it
was
was
a
great.
great story.
It's really
but
fun.
Yeah.
We will never have it back. But
Anybody remember what we said?
that's why we call her
wish we
Helen
could.
Keller.
sometimes
Yes,
it works for me,
I
sometimes
pressed
it
it.
doesn't.
I pressed this thing. I think I pressed it.
Too funny.
Oh,
Right.
You'll
So
have that.
we think we've covered any other current events we want to talk about. The Indians aren't doing well. That's
No, they're not.
There's not
doing
much
well.
to talk about.
They're playing like the Cleveland Browns.
Or you
Normally play.
could compare them to the Pittsburgh Pirates. My
Well, no, we're not that.
hometown
We're not
team,
going to go that
who
far.
is,
but,
I think, 4-13 at this point.
We're
so
10-9, I think, so we're
yeah.
good.
I told them how when
Don't
you found
let
out there
me-
was going to be a 60-game season, you said, "Well, the Pirates will probably lose 100 games."
Did you say
I predicted that they'd lose 100 games
on 50 games?
when it was 162. When it was 162, and then when it
Oh,
was
shit.
announced it's going to be 60, I said, "Don't worry, they're still going to lose 100 games." And
Oh,
they're on their
my
way.
goodness.
They're on their
Anyway,
way. What a
but,
pity for
yeah, the
us.
Indians,
Don't get me started, please.
Best pitching, no hitting. So Still got to score runs. Can't win games without that.
Nope. Come on, Joe Boo.
Joe Boo.
So
Man.
what's Pat Patterson drinking? If you're out, let us know. Love
Yeah,
you.
what's Steven? What are you drinking?
So
Brothers?
we got Chuck Stebbins.
Donley?
Oh,
What you
Glenn, Chuck,
Glenn-
Chuck,
Chuck
Chuck,
Glenn.
Charlie Brown.
His name
He's
is,
having some Highland 18
oh,
right now.
Oh,
Highland Park, Glenn?
all right. Pulling out some stops.
Probably.
Highland Park. Highland Park.
Highland
18.
Park 18 is a
Nice.
fantastic
Nice.
brand. Yes.
Let's see. Shauna's impressed that Sidecar and Zach are both here. She's
Yes, I
I'm
know.
gonna put this on
We
the calendar.
coordinated our things.
Coordinated.
We both got haircuts.
You all cross swords.
They got
against
and
one
they got haircuts.
Yeah, look
You
at
said
that
that.
matching
We both got
haircuts.
haircuts.
We're clean cut, aren't we?
That's it, man.
They're just jealous.
Yeah.
Couldn't be seen in public
They're just
before
jealous.
that.
Exactly. See?
Oh my goodness.
A lot of people laughing at the
Did you,
picture.
did you get a wax?
You
Yeah?
got wax?
Full wax? Okay, well.
Well, what about your hair? What'd you do when you got that cut?
Which part?
Sidecar, so I just have to ask you. I'm not going to pick on Zach because we need him.
Oh.
But anyway,
Chuck said yes.
so I'm just going to say that I'm just going to throw this out there, but I'm thinking that maybe Liz had a hand in your haircut.
No.
No,
No.
she didn't tell you to get that stupid
I went
haircut?
across the street because it was close.
You are stupid.
That was a barber. That was a regular freaking
Well, he did a good job.
That
If I don't
picture you
say, I
sent
mean,
me,
I'll,
was that you
I'll
sitting
just
on-
say
was
that.
a picture of you on the porch by the beach at your house?
Was
did
he
a good
wearing his
job.
thong?
No, you sent me a picture where you were like at a
I think he
beach.
has a nice haircut.
Oh, that was a bar.
Yeah.
Oh, you were at a bar.
Yeah.
My
Dude,
son
that
go
was
barber.
nice.
Yeah,
I do.
It was
Very
like,
nice.
and then the sailboats is at the apartment.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see a picture from there too, but beautiful. Nice.
Yeah, great wings. When I went in
Okay.
there, they're like, "What do you want?" I said, "What do you guys specialize in?" "They're wings." I'm like, "I'm all for it."
Mm.
It was good.
Well,
All right.
I'm glad you're back, brother. I love you. I
Yeah.
miss you.
Love you too.
So Stephen Williams, he's got 4 roses small batch.
Nice.
Nice
Right.
drink there.
That's a
Mm.
nice.
Nice, brother.
Who's Steve Williams?
I don't know.
Who's Steve Williams?
Some Mexican guy.
Good friend of mine from what? Oh, no, sorry.
Oh, that's funny. Let's see. They're laughing at the pictures. They love the hair. Yeah.
That's great.
Prince Valiant.
Prince Valiant.
Prince
that was his
Valiant.
name.
Doug used to call me Prince Valiant because I had this like long hair with the straight thing going straight across above my eyebrows, like that old comic strip.
Should we bring
Yep.
it back up since you just talked
Sure,
about
might
it
as
so
well.
we
Go
can-
ahead. Beat
Okay,
me.
there it
Beat
is.
me
Well, you
with it.
both
Oh,
kind of had that
beat me
look
with it.
going
Where's,
on.
Yeah, it was
where's
a,
Cameron today?
It was
Let me get
it was
let
a
me
certain
get a look at that
time.
picture.
He's
you
at the
know?
barber shop
Let me get
getting a
that.
haircut similar.
Where's
no.
Cameron today? Oh my goodness, that's
We
Doug.
were actually
that's
setting
Chris,
trends
right?
back then.
Nice.
Very
That's good.
nice.
You look like a parking pole.
I
Look at that.
encourage everyone
That's
to
nice.
enter the chat function on the
YouTube?
webpage and start entering your comments.
Amen. And
Right
I tell you
now.
what, the more sarcastic, the better.
Yeah. We love it.
We want to hear, like, if
The
you're
more
in the audience.
sarcastic, the better.
If you're in the audience, we want to have you chat in.
Yeah, because I want to hear some good stories. Like Lindsay said, this slab of beef is in the building.
Easy.
Slab of beef.
Easy.
I don't know how much.
Girlfriend.
There's
That
really not
beef.
a whole lot there. Okay,
Yeah.
we were having a barbecue. Doug brought out this huge chunk of beef, put it on the grill, and I said,
Easy.
"Man, that's a slab of beef." And the girls, his daughters, have been calling me slab
thought
of beef.
that was
That's
funny.
it. That's the story.
Ah,
So
okay.
that's it.
Every
That's-
time he
Uh-huh.
would
You
come
were in
over
the
to house,
gutter.
they
You
would-
were in the other
they would-
gutter.
I
But
was
no,
like,
Slab of
that's
beef
I
is
was
here.
like, holy cow.
yeah, that's it. That's it. It's cute. It's cute, but you know.
Okay, this is
Are you trying
great.
to tell me the girls
What's
like
that?
the all beef pizza girls?
So this when you ask for
Could be.
sarcastic comments, this is great. So I've got to put the picture back up, and then I have to read Chuck's comment.
okay.
Okay, everyone see that?
Here we go.
I
Chuck
do.
says, "Chris looks like Dorothy Hamill."
And you know what? He's right. Do you want to see my? Do you want to see my like?
That's nice.
Do you want to
Very
see my
good.
double axle?
Sow cow? Can you do a sow cow for us?
Anybody want to see my double
It's,
axle?
it's hanging right below my
sow
hockey
cow?
stick.
Yeah.
I,
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Well, there's so many things we could talk about,
Those are
but
your
we
friends.
need to do a
Those
show.
are your friends beating you
They
guys
are,
up,
yeah.
right?
I know. I
oh,
know.
friends. Well, yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I guess you could say that.
Well,
yeah.
there's a lot we could.
All your
But
secrets are coming out right
well,
now.
I look like Dorothy Hamill in that picture, but I was Tanya Harding.
No, there you go. Oh, goodness.
Hey, Doug and I took judo at the YMCA, so
That's
trust
right.
me.
Yeah.
Trust me, it was Tanya Harding.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Beating each
right.
other up.
Also, what's the origin of Chris's trail name, Frail Deer?
Oh, somebody's
Wow.
bringing out trail
Oh,
names. That had to
shit,
be
come on.
Glenn.
Does
That's
this have
serious,
anything to do with? It actually does have.
Don't look
something
at
to
us.
do-
We don't know. You tell
Well,
us
you
first.
know, it actually does have. I want to know how far off topic you want to go.
No,
Yeah.
But I'm gonna
We're
bring.
here all night.
I
I'll
was going
bring
to say,
whiskey.
we're here all
Listen,
night.
Oh shit!
I just have to be at a cigar event at 4
Oh,
tomorrow.
shit.
That's all right.
I will bring whiskey into the story. So, okay, so one night we had a huge group of us up in Northern California, this
Right.
gorgeous campsite overlooking the Pacific, and partying our brains out and drinking,
Did you say farting your brains out?
partying
Oh,
our
okay.
brains out. Thank you. I need
was
to
like,
enunciate
damn.
a little bit better. Well, and farting our brains out. I mean, it was like a little of each.
I expected
And so we consumed like massive quantities of whiskey and massive quantities of whiskey, and the next morning I was like in a world of hurt, you know.
Sure.
And girlfriend of mine at the time that was with us on that trip said, "Oh my God, look at him, my frail dear," and then everybody went, "Ah, that's it," and that was it. From that moment on,
That's his new
"You're
name.
frail dear," and that was boom.
And that was the last we ever saw that girl.
I was gonna say. That's,
Oh,
He did not like
she
that,
probably-
nickname,
she
but it's
probably-
grown into it. He. We don't actually say
Wait,
it all that much.
if Uber
That
was
was-
alive way back then, she'd have been the first one in the car.
feet don't fail me now.
Beats don't fail me now.
Oh my gosh.
That's the story.
Oh, those are
What,
great.
Okay,
what
so-
kind of mud you got on Doug?
I don't know. We don't need to go there.
Boy.
What kind of mud you got
Well,
on
to
Doug?
be frank with you, I'd have to change my name. All right, let's go.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
You don't want to hear... Why?
You know, so
What?
here's the thing, though.
Let's hear
The
this.
check that I got from Doug this morning,
Yeah.
cleared. This had to do with like not getting into any of his history because
Really?
we knew this was going to happen. Well, he knew
Yeah,
this was
like
going to
what?
happen.
Yeah.
And the check was nice and it cleared.
Oh,
And I'm a
give us-
man of my word,
All
so,
right, so
I'm not going to
I
get into that.
I respect all of that.
I'm
but
not
let's,
gonna get
let's
into
do
that.
pre-Shauna then.
Oh, okay, sure. Nobody said anything
Well,
about
I think
that.
this is after the show conversation.
Nobody said anything about that.
Doug's like, nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. Move along, kids. Move
No,
along.
no. Don't we have to get on with what are we? What are we tasting?
Black Velvet, apparently.
No. So,
Oh, hold on, not so fast. What do you want to know about Doug? Because listen, you guys might bid higher. I can always give that check back to him. So, what do you want to know?
I got a thick checkbook.
Yeah, it's
what do you
pretty,
want
Hey,
it's
to
a
what-
pretty. There's not a lot to talk about.
What do you want to know?
It's pretty boring.
What? So what are some of your childhood getting in trouble friend things?
Well, we did a lot of. There was a lot of
I'll-
stuff.
you know,
in school.
I will say, we did stuff that got attention, was somewhat was entertaining, might have been somewhat funny at times. We never did things that were destructive or like
Designed to hurt
seriously
people or anything.
illegal or
Sure,
that. But we had
sure.
like, you know, just our crew, like our friends and all that back in the day. We were like goofballs, but we never really hurt anybody.
Sure.
Never
did
and-
were
and-
destructive.
no,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mean.
No,
I
we
get it,
weren't.
sure.
But we had a lot of, we had a lot of notoriety in our school, and but no, we didn't get in a ton of trouble. All right, so one thing comes to mind. Okay, this is kind of funny. This is kind of funny. Okay, because this isn't really serious, but so we're driving down this little highway that went sort of past our town called the Bypass.
Gotcha.
And one of our friends, one of the earliest guys that we knew to have a car, you know, and like we're driving down this thing, and there's this old lady beside us in the other lane, and we just got the idea like let's drop her pants and like shoot her the moon out the window, which we did. Like there's a bunch of us like trying to jockey for position, no pun intended. We're getting our buttocks out the window, and you know we're like, haha. 3 days later, we get a call from the guy's father who was driving the car. He's like, I've got a summons here, and it's get over to my house, and he reads us this riot act, this big thing, and he's like, look, this is a complaint against me from the government, and I'm never going to be able to hold a job that requires clearance, and I'm getting arrested, and you guys
Was
are
he
the
a painter or
reason.
something?
He was, I don't know. you know, and we're looking at it,
He
and it
was
says, you know,
full of
the
it.
offense was
He was trying to
exposing
scare us.
buttocks out of car window. That was the offense, and it was $36 fine from the magistrate. And this lady had contacted the magistrate and said, I got the license number of this vehicle. This is what happened. She reported it, so we had this summons, and it was like, well, pay the fine or come to court and explain yourself. We're like, we'll just pay the fine. He's like, well, each one of you has to give us $9 for this. So we did, and then they paid the 30. So I mean, that was like the only time we ever really got in any kind
You
of
guys are lame.
trouble. All right, so
Well,
you
no,
asked
that
me like,
wasn't-
you know, what kind of trouble,
I'm just teasing.
but we
I'm
did.
just
teasing.
But that was it. It was
I mean, I'll tell you,
stupid. It was
so
stupid.
that brings up a story.
But it does tie
I
back
think
to
it's-
whiskey real
Go
quick.
ahead.
We drank a case of whiskey before that happened.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story is hang your butt out someone else's car window.
Yeah.
Someone
Amen.
else's car window. Because it's only $9.
Nobody wants to see the gerbil. But anyway.
Well, I was very afraid, but my folks just kind of chuckled because he also made us tell our parents, or
My mother would've
he
went over there
called
and
our
threatened them.
parents or something. I can't remember,
Yeah.
but anyway.
I always tell the story.
He
It's
was one of those
It's a funny
parents.
story.
Yeah.
This was probably 10 years ago. I did a lot of traffic details back in the day, and I'll never forget. I was on this real nice, very nice country road, and they were doing ditch cleaning and all this stuff on this road, and so I was on the south side of the detail, if you will, and my sergeant was on the north side of the details, and so we would always do the last car. So it'd be okay, last car, because the change from stop to go would be last car. Last car is a gray Mercury, whatever. Boom. So he says to me, last car is this Toyota Corolla, gold color or whatever. I don't remember, but so this car comes by and these carload of girls, and this was like early summertime, like when kids are getting out of college, so to say. I'm assuming it was college. I hope it was college. These girls, the whole car, this car comes, it's got 5 girls in the car, and they got the windows down, they're yelling, hey, and they're blowing me kisses. I'm like, hey, I waved to them, but, so, we're in the country out here, so about 2 hours later, we're another, I don't know, 6 feet ahead of where I was, government work, and I'm doing traffic, and they come rolling up at that. I had nobody at mine. I radio north. I said, what do you got up there? He says, well, nothing. I said, I'm sending this gold Toyota Corolla up there. So this car, I said, it's the only car I got. He says, okay. So this car of girls comes rolling back. It is the car. And the next thing I know, shirts up.
Oh.
They're yelling to me the whole 9 years. So I radioed into the Sarge. I said, I got a little show coming towards your way. And he got the same show. But anyway,
okay.
that reminded me of the story with the...
And you arrested them, right? I mean,
Hell no. It was a hot day.
gender discrimination.
It was a
It was
hot day.
Hot date? Oh, hot day.
That's how I met Karen.
Oh, I see.
Anyway, Karen happened to be one of them
Oh,
girls.
that's how you met Karen.
That was
Okay,
the
we
Well,
were
that
gonna,
story reminded me of that story.
we were going to ask
That's
you how
great.
did you meet Karen, but okay.
She
Oh,
stalked
that's-
me for months.
Oh my.
Yeah, sure I did.
Anyway,
So what do we got,
going-
kids? What do we have going on?
We got
today?
some Dalwhinnie Distillers Edition single malt Scotch whiskey,
That's a Scottish whiskey,
which
if I'm not mistaken.
I purchased when last summer when we were actually in Scotland. So this bottle I actually bought off the shelf at the distillery. So
Straight
I know
off the
it's
boat,
Nice.
straight off the
Yeah.
plane.
Nice.
Straight off
That's not-
straight out of duty free.
no. We had been in Scotland a few days.
Chris sent you that
in
bottle?
Edinburgh. So before
That's
that.
the other bottle that I stole from my mother years ago.
You
Sorry,
should be
Mom.
ashamed of yourself.
I am.
Oh, that's funny.
I am.
My parents were never whiskey drinkers. My mom drank a beer or two. My dad, he was a beer guy too.
Yeah, he used to have to hide it in the trunk of
He
his
did,
car,
'cause
even
of
in
my
the
brother,
summer.
my brother Frank. Oh my God,
Yeah.
great story. Go ahead, Dougie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so no, I mean I bought it there. I mean I've never seen it here in the States. I don't know that you can't find it, but there you go. So
I haven't seen it.
It's the Distillers
I'm
Edition.
sure you can buy it through some of the online retailers, but yes, Distillers Edition.
Nice.
And do we have any information?
We've got a little bit
All
of
right.
information on it. Well, first, I'd just like to say thank you for sharing this with us.
Yeah, it's one of those. I think Dalwhinnie kind of is a Scotch whiskey that you don't hear a lot about. It is the highest distillery in Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
It's located in the Highlands, and it's only about an hour outside of Edinburgh, due north, but it's 375 meters, so.
It's on the rail line on the way
Yeah.
to Inverness. We know
And
that.
there's a main roadway that goes through there. So, but very beautiful little town, kind of a train stop, if you will. And there's the distillery right there, and it just looks beautiful. It's immaculate. I think the whiskeys made there are fantastic. We went in. The gift shop was great, and there was a guy talking that, well. Yeah, we kind of needed subtitles to understand him, but he was all in the Scottish garb, and he really knew his whiskeys.
Nice.
So that's my fond memory, and our whole family was there. And that's where I got, well, same trip I got this shirt.
Talisker, huh?
Yeah, that was I guess the day after that. But we did go up to Inverness, and then we visited Glenmorangie.
Mm-hmm.
And then made our way over to the west coast. And then the next day we did Isle of Skye and Talisker.
Nice. Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, I'm envious.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
because when you and I were 3 years ago, when we were in Scotland, and we did a hike along the River Spey, where there are numerous distilleries, which we'll get into a little bit later in the show.
Sure.
And on the train from Edinburgh to Inverness, we rolled not too fast, slowly past the Dalwhinnie distillery.
Right.
It's a very beautiful, setting and the building and everything, and it's one of my favorite whiskeys. And but it sort of faded into the distance as the train kept on rolling, and then he
Chris,
actually,
stop!
yeah, I know, like where's that thing you pull to stop the train? And then that's only in old cowboy movies or something. But he actually got to go there and spend some time there. So
Yeah. I remember on that train looking out the train window, and it was kind of a cloudy day, figure that, in Scotland. But there was, the clouds kind of broke, and there was this beam of light just shining down on the white building. It has these nice little black pagoda roofs, the pagoda chimneys, and it was just beautiful. Anyway, so I said, next time I make it here, I'm going to stop. And I did.
Good. Awesome.
That's when we got this whiskey. So, shall we?
Shall
What do
we?
you think?
Let's
How about a
go
little
into
history?
some history on
And
it.
you go do some history.
I
And
will
we
go do some history.
Yeah, you do
Little-
that.
little
I
jaunt.
forget the order. I don't know. It's
That's
our
okay.
first show, right?
Kind of winging
It's our
it.
first show.
Just kidding.
After last week, who knows?
Oh my gosh, what a
Last week was a mess.
yeah.
No,
But it was
we
fun.
it was fun.
It was nice to see Ray again.
We were completely disorientated, and we had so many interruptions, and everything happened, but at the end of the day, we got through it. But it was just like, I
Bit of a hot
stopped the
mess.
show. We
Yeah.
had people show up late. I'm like, oh my god! But it was crazy. Kept my cool, and it ended up being, at the end of the day, it actually became a nice show. It really did. So we had Ray on. Raylo from
Rayon Cognac.
Cognac.
Yes.
It was good. He hung out, even though he's in his Pittsburgh garb.
He had a Steelers
anyway-
hat on. I don't know if you saw that show.
I did not see it. I'm sorry. I was
Yeah,
Good.
preoccupied with
You-
other things.
Are you into any cognac or no?
Not so much. No, I'm not. So-
After the show, we
We'll
have
have a
let
little
him-
taste.
let
but
him
I'll try some of
that.
the rayon.
You need to try
I've,
that,
I've
'cause
heard that it's a tremendous product. And,
Yeah.
It is. Anyway, go
Sure.
ahead, honey. I'm sorry.
Very good. No, you're fine. So Dalwhinnie is, like you said, Doug, it is the highest distillery in Scotland.
Mhm.
And it was built back in 1897. And at the time, it was called Strathspey.
That's right.
Strathspey. Then they started production the following year. And A.P. Blythe bought it for his son. I'm sure he's long gone by now, but if he wants to adopt me and find me a distillery in Scotland, I'll go for
Let
it.
me know so I can get you packed up.
Right?
Go
I'm
ahead.
telling you. I don't even need, I'll buy new stuff over there.
Okay, perfect. Can I
So-
keep the Jeep?
I'll buy a new one.
All right.
So anyways, yeah, he bought it for his son and he renamed it Dalwhinnie. And the definition of Dalwhinnie means plain, Plain, of meetings. And it kind of describes the distillery's location. It's at a junction of two old roads, and it's between two mountain ranges.
Good.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what you described coming around on the
Yeah.
train.
Gets in a little valley, for sure.
1905, the largest U.S. distiller at the time, which on the Dalwhinnie website, they called it Cook and Bernheimer. But when I looked it up to do a little bit of further research, it looks like it was called Cook and Bernheimer. So, anyway, they were New York wholesalers who distributed throughout the U.S. And again, this is 1905. And they bought the distillery at an auction, and it was the first American investment in Scotch whiskey.
Wow.
They began to blend Dalwhinnie with other whiskeys because they wanted to tailor it to the taste of the American palate. And behind Cook and Bernheimer was George B. Kerrigan. He was a New Jersey grocer turned financier. And he invested in a liquor distributor firm that has traced its origins back to the Civil War. And it had a nationwide customer base here in the States. While they didn't own any distilleries outright at the time, they did have a steady supply of the product because they actually purchased the total output coming from all the distilleries. So they didn't have the distilleries itself, but they got all of the goods from it. In 1889, they obtained an exclusive contract to bottle and distribute Mount Vernon whiskey, distilled by the Hanness Distilling Company in Baltimore and Philly. And the whiskey was sold in distinctively square brown bottles that had the Hanness name only. So some of their products, I was looking online, I found some old pictures, which I thought were really cool. Here's an old picture of one of their products that they sold and distributed called Mount Vernon Rye Whiskey. They also sold Gold Lion, which was another brand at the time. So if you can get your hands on any of those.
I wonder if they're, we've talked about the founding fathers and we talked about Washington's Mount Vernon distillery, so I wonder there must be a connection there somewhere.
Yeah, I would think
It's
there
funny,
is.
I have a couple of, I want to say some of my bourbons that kind of have a Scotch blend to them that are very similar to that bottle, believe it or not, with the same lettering. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very familiar old bottle. I'm trying to think of the name of that. I know what you're talking about, but I lost it now.
That's right.
But anyway, enough of them. Cook and Bernheimer, they got out of the business because of Prohibition. 1934, back to the Dalwhinnie distillery, they had a fire, caused extensive damage at the distillery. It was actually closed for 4 years, and the reopening was delayed because they had some really bad winters back then. They had snow drifts up to 20 feet. So I know here in the snow belt, we know a lot about snow drifts of 20 feet.
We do.
But they actually don't get that kind of snow that often because
So-
That's very
temperate.
rare.
It's a
Very
temperate
rare for that.
oceanic
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of oceanic climate, so it doesn't usually get that much snow.
So it took them 4 years to
Wow.
rebuild. That was back in 1934. 1986, they actually refurbished the distillery again. And then you guys were talking about the weather. Dalwhinnie, am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Dalwhinnie?
Dalwhinnie? Yes.
It's confirmed by the Met Office, which is the National Meteorological, I can say that
Mhm.
word, sure,
Yes.
service from the UK,
Yep.
as having the coldest average recorded temperature of any Scottish region, and they got down to -6 Celsius. Yeah, I know, we don't like
That's-
talking
I know.
about that.
That's not.
Pat's
that-
our measurement guy.
It's not
Give us-
that cold, actually.
No, it's not.
No, you think
for
0
Scotland,
is 32.
Right, exactly. It's like about maybe 19 or 20 degrees or something, or
So,
maybe
yeah,
maybe,
their climate-
maybe 15 degrees Fahrenheit.
of course, that's about
That's-
in the summer.
That's
It
nothing
still only
like-
gets up to like 55 degrees in the summer, though. So that's the difference. And that's why, as we've talked about many times, that's why Scottish whiskey takes so long to age compared to bourbon, right? So a young Scottish whiskey is 8 years.
That's right.
That's a baby, but that's a pretty good age, pretty well aged bourbon at 8 years. So
Yeah. So, again, we are drinking the Dalwhinnie Distillers edition.
Not quite yet.
Not yet, but we will. hold
Promise.
on to your
Promise.
hat. Hold on to your
I
hat.
came all this way.
So a little bit about this. The Distillers edition are released each year, and they take the core of the Diageo Classic Malt Collection and they finish aging the whiskey in a wine cask. The Dalwhinnie finishes it in an Oloroso sherry cask.
Good guess. Yeah.
So they're saying it's a 15-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey from the Highlands. ABV is 43, so quick, that's 86. And the Dalwhinnie website says it's about 55 British pounds or $90 US.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's about right.
Mhm.
I have
That's
$80.
about right. Yep.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah. So, but again, they don't
Yeah.
sell it here, correct? So,
Not that
I
I've
haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
Like I said, I can't say that, and I'm sure you can buy it online. I just have not ever seen it in the stores here. But of course, Ohio is a bit limited as it goes. So,
Amen.
this is true.
Anyway,
All right, kids, that's what I got.
I am actually hoping that you can get it. So this is of value to our viewers. So
Yeah.
we don't necessarily want to review something nobody can ever
I'll
get.
take I'll take a picture of that, and I'll hunt it.
Okay.
Like if we go on Google, could we find out if it's like available?
I'll bet we probably could.
Or is that like out? Is that really out there?
I don't know, but
I think we could find out.
I have a to-do
Maybe
list
one
then
of our
after the show.
maybe one
Yeah.
of our group, like
So-
Pat Patterson or Chuck Brown, Charlie Brown, Glenn Brown, Glenn. Stebbings could like look it up and let us
He
know.
might be able
I
to.
see it. It's right here on whatever website.
well,
Let's
but
find
again,
out.
Ohio is the key.
Oh no, we can get it.
Most of our viewers are still Ohio.
Yes, they are.
I've actually had products shipped from like really nice, great, whiskey, sales organizations in California shipped to Ohio so that I could drive over and visit Doug and then get it and take
'Cause
it
in
back
Pennsylvania,
to
they
because
put-
Pennsylvania you cannot have whiskey. Well, you cannot have any alcoholic beverage shipped into the state like through the mail or FedEx or anything
Correct.
like that. You
Correct.
just cannot.
But
So that's it. Like you can only.
As we've talked about, though, that all those rules are always changing, so it's always in flux. And,
Not in
Things-
Pennsylvania.
well, and I'm just saying that I know places that used to be able to send to me here in Ohio say they can't now.
Oh, I think
And
some of
that-
that's changed.
that
I
changes
think
a
there's
lot.
some virus stuff, which I don't even want to talk about. But yeah,
Yeah.
one of my favorite places. I tried to have some stuff shipped to you recently, which I was going to call you up. Hey, and they suddenly was like, we don't ship to Ohio, but I've done
It
it.
was Pabst Blue Ribbon beer, by the way.
yeah, the PBRs. I had
Don't be
a
knocking
700
my PBR.
cases of PBR on Doug's front porch, and it was just some whiskey for an event we have coming up, and then I got all through the ordering, and then they're like, we don't ship to Ohio. And I'm like, yes, you do. You've done it 10 times in the past, but anyway,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Some weird
you
stuff,
never
some
know.
weird
So
stuff.
it's a weird
I don't think
distribution's a weird.
I don't think that's a legal thing though. Like what happened with that? Just saying.
Well, there's
I
a
think
mix of legal things. There's a mix of what every retailer decides they want to do or not do.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
It's
it's
too
a bit
bad.
of a crapshoot, unfortunately. So, are we about ready to taste this bad boy?
We're
Pass
ready to
this
Well,
out,
I've
man.
come all this way.
Yeah.
Let's pass this out.
I've come all this
There you
way.
go.
Oh, thank you. Thank
There
you.
you go.
It's a nice
Are
dram.
we going to show the bottle to the camera?
I will.
Okay.
I will. That's my next thing.
He's very eager. He's very eager about
I
that.
just lit this LaFleur Dominicana of Andalusian Bull, and it is not disappointing at all.
Tell us about it. Come on.
Nice.
Tell us
Awesome.
more. Well, have a little bottle show.
I would have some of that after the show if I smoked cigars.
You should get into smoking some cigars. You're killing it.
Well, like, oh,
Very nice.
We could light one up now.
All I know is I love the high heel that that girl lost on a drunken night. But anyway, it's all good. So.
You're a hot mess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we want to go in and
Do some
So we're gonna
tasting.
do the
some
nosing.
sniff.
Some nosing, huh?
I'm gonna do some nosing here. Let me get a little. Let me cleanse my palate a little bit.
This is my favorite part.
nosing it or just drinking it.
Our friend Pat
Well-
makes fun of this one, but we love it. I get definitely not if I'm not talking out of turn. I get some definitely caramel, some butterscotch, and that's a Dalwhinnie
I get some
thing
fruit
for
out of
sure. And there's definitely
a little
some.
raisin or something in there.
I'm getting like I don't know, almost maraschino cherry, and then something light and green like some pear or something.
I get a little
Hair?
late in the season.
pear.
Late
I thought he said hair.
hair. Yeah, hair. Oh, hey.
I get that too, but not the hair I want. But anyway, go ahead.
I get some honeysuckle. Late
Okay.
in the season, like after it's been on the plant for a little while, not day one.
You're being fun with this.
No, honeysuckle. Come on.
I get scotch.
I
do get something. I do get something floral.
Floral, yeah, very floral. To me, it's honeysuckle. Might be sunny huckle to someone else.
It does not smell like a traditional Scotch to me.
It has. It's a very unique, complicated nose. I think.
Yeah.
That's
So
very nice.
the notes that I have on here said it's a fresh sherry, embraces the maltier, more honeyed aspect.
Honey, suckle.
Peaty,
Just saying.
peaty, and surprisingly, still heathery, spicy yet grapey.
All floral.
Okay. It's very. It's
I-
the
They
nose
say
is beautiful.
grape. I say
And don't forget
maraschino
pencil
cherry.
shavings and wet shoelaces. I mean, that's important to note.
Oh, that's the
Sometimes
Lafroig.
some of these scotches, sometimes you get baby diaper. I don't give a shit what they say. It's terrible.
Band-Aids.
No pun intended.
That's-
Okay.
The
Band-Aids.
cloth band-aids or the...
That's the phenolics of peat, which we'll talk about next week.
Well, I tell you what.
I've already
I
cheated.
I can't. I'm in. I'm gonna
I've
throw
cheated.
it.
Gone.
I've gone in. I've cheated. I'm sorry.
All right, let's taste this.
Wow. Wow, is that beautiful?
Ah,
Wow.
that is nice.
I get
Dry.
I get a lot of. I do get dryness. I get a lot of fruit on the aftertaste.
I really like
I
that.
really, really do. I get the honey. I get all that stuff.
I get honey.
I get cherry. I get all that stuff. It's really
Oh, yeah.
nice. It's really nice.
Very creamy. There's a little bit of pepperiness.
I
But
got
then,
apricot peach plum jam.
no, I think dried apricot is exactly what I was looking for. Yeah,
That's what friends are for.
yeah, that's right.
It's really nice.
It's got a little, it's got a nice mouthfeel, maybe a slightly on the oily side. It's just,
It is oily for sure.
Like 10W40 or...
I was going 20-50, but
Okay.
no, but in a good way, I would say.
wow, it's.
A lot of.
I get a lot of honey on the aftertaste.
Yeah,
I really
honey
do.
and honeysuckle. But nice. I'm
Tastes like more.
It does taste
Tastes
like
like
more.
more.
It does. It's very good.
It's freaking
If
good.
you want to, I think, in my opinion, if you want to start to try some of the peatier scotches, this is a very good intro because you can taste the peat on here, but it's not
I would say
peat.
it's,
It's
yeah,
but
it's
you
definitely not a peat profile.
no,
it's
but
not a
you-
heavy peat.
No, not
I
at
don't
all.
think. My personal opinion, not that I've had a lot. Sorry, kids, but I of a couple of Dalwhinnies that I've had, they're not peaty.
No.
No, it's not. But you can get with this an introduction
Yeah.
to what peat is like. So it's a good way. I mean, don't jump right into a Lafroig 18 or something
They're
crazy
probably
like
they're
that.
probably taking a light fraction of their malting and peating it, and so
It's nice.
Yeah, this would
Yeah,
definitely
that's
be
really
to
nice.
me. It would be a nice intro to
So
what peat's all
my
about.
my aftertaste is white grape.
Mhm.
I get a lot of honey out of it on the aftertaste. It's very pleasing. It's very pleasing.
So the notes I have, the palate, it's a big spicy buzz. There's your pepper.
Okay.
followed by an impressive build-up of very clear, well-defined Scotch. After a quick burst of sweetness, a rich grape effect moves in towards the middle.
There you go.
It's your grapes.
So if there's anyone out there who would like to buy me a bottle of some kind of whiskey, this Dalwhinnie, what's the name of it again?
If
Distillers
anybody
would
out
Would
there,
be really a good idea.
So yeah, if
Thank
anybody
you.
out there, Laura thinks that they
Thank
might
you.
want to buy him a bottle of that.
That is really very pleasing.
That's-
I could drink
Yeah,
that. I could drink
delightful.
that. You know, it's like, you know, I'm not. I say this all the time. I'm not a huge Scotch guy, but I could sit down with a cigar and that for a night. I really could.
How about tonight?
Okay.
You know, I have been a fan of the Dalwhinnie 15, which is their
Yeah, me
flagship
too.
mainstream
Yeah.
bottle for many
And I
years.
think we're doing that this month
and
as well.
this is just so, it's different. It's so, like, it's, you know, it's got sort of a Dalwhinnie whatever underpinnings, but man, this has got all kinds of unique stuff going on. I love it. I love
I
it.
think that. Oh, I get them confused, so I don't want to talk. But I think this is one where the distiller was retiring and had made this special selection.
That's
So-
very good.
Well, Sean,
Nice pick.
Oh, that's a nice emotional tale, lad, but I'm not sure that's what happened at all. I think it's. No, it's really awesome. It's just terrific.
So, we got some comments, or anybody?
Shauna is
Okay.
asking, how does the sherry come through?
I did not.
I didn't get a lot of sherry
like
at
I said,
all,
I
actually.
tasted on the nose. I was getting maraschino cherries and some light fruit, some dry fruit, pear maybe, and then on the taste, I do see the grape, honey. There's some grapefruit. It's lighter fruit on the actual.
I think that's a great question.
On the
though. I really
palate.
do. I think
Yeah.
the most important thing we could do with that question is probably sample a little bit
Try a little bit more, figure
Yes,
out where
we
it's
might
I
have
think
to
that we
do some more
should.
study before we can really determine.
I would like to just really, because I think it's important to, you know,
You got to give the right
commenters
answer.
questions. It's important to
Yeah, we
let
have to
them
make sure we
know,
follow up on our
let them know what
viewers'
what we
questions.
think.
Steve Williams says, you guys make it sound fantastic.
You want a little more?
Well, it's very.
Yeah, of course I do.
It's up. Well, speaking of that, well then let's go ahead and rate this bastard.
Let's do it.
So, Big G, I will start with you.
I'm gonna go 4.3.
Just right out
4.3,
there, just
yeah.
bam.
The
That's
new
just
guy
what you
needs
give,
For
huh?
4.3.
What's the rating scale?
1 to 5.
1 to 5.
5 would just be. Oh my God.
The best thing I ever had.
Oh,
1
Karen?
would be I wouldn't.
You just leave it right there.
Now, Karen, again, we always caveat, but she's not much of
It's beautiful.
much of a Scotch person, but she's
Fantastic.
learning. I think she's starting to appreciate.
I was
it.
gonna go 4.5, but I'm gonna stick with the 4.3.
4-3. Okay.
What about members of
You
the
gonna stick
visiting
with the
audience?
4.3?
We don't get any of that stuff.
Well, you do when I'm here.
You want some?
You do
Jack,
when I-
did you get?
Come here, Sidecar. You want a little
We're
drink?
drinking Jack Daniels
We'll
Black.
take
do
your
when I'm
rating.
here.
I'm still finishing
We'll
first,
take it.
but I
All
definitely
right.
will.
Come on,
All
Sidecar.
Sidecar, come get a little taste of this.
Come on, baby.
We need to get.
We don't get this stuff.
Show
Because
off,
you're-
We get the
show
poppers.
off those legs. Come on.
Game in town. Don't hit your head
Audience,
Oh wait, wrong one. Wrong one. Go back and do that again.
studio audience
That's good.
ratings.
All right.
We do take those, and they do
Grandfather then?
count
There you
on
go.
your
Nice.
whiskey round.
Exactly.
Ralph, you're gonna enjoy that. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna enjoy that.
You're disappointing me, lad.
Show him your haircut, Sidecar.
That is a great
That's actually-
haircut, man.
Very good.
Show him
Isn't that
right
awesome?
over here. Show him the haircut and
Oh,
very good.
not the haircut on your eyelashes. We meant the full
Not the
head.
nose hairs.
Hold on a second here.
Not the nose hairs. Oh my! Oh my!
Oh my.
Oh my! Oh my!
Sit your ass down. You can-
All right, Karen, what's your rating? Let's have your rating.
So I'm trying to remember. Last week, I know I gave it like a 3.8.
Not this, you did.
No, not this. I'm trying to. What I want to do is I want to compare because I want to be fair.
It's apples and oranges.
It doesn't. But it's still like on my palate. Where does it fall? I know.
You did like last week. So what did we?
We're doing
Boy, now
Isn't that nice?
time flies. What did we do last?
Time flies. We forget what we already did last week, don't we?
What's that?
You know what? I'm gonna stay with that. I'm gonna stay a 3.8,
Okay.
and I'm gonna say that my score would have been lower on the first taste. It hit me real scotchy at first
Really?
because I'm not that kind of person.
Not that kind of girl.
But the more that I try it, the more it sits well with me. So,
And you're only going to give it that rating? The more you try it, the more you like it?
I still think
to
here
me,
on the
I'm-
Whiskey Roundtable, 3.8 is still a good rating.
it's good. Now,
Out of five?
you have to know, like, Scotch
It's
isn't
like a
my.
76 out of 100.
Well,
It's
high
not
school,
my
right?
go-to.
And-
It's not my, like, if I were to go pick something off the shelf, I would never pick a Scotch.
I didn't
So
get any
for me
Pete
to
out
give
of
it
at
a
all.
3.8 is, I think
Okay.
it's a good score.
No, that's fine.
But, okay.
That's fine.
Well, that sounds like a problem and we need to be addressing, lass.
Looks like you're sleeping on the
I know,
couch
I'm
tonight.
trying.
Good God.
I'm giving it, and I really love this whiskey. I have to be honest. I love the complexity of the nose, and then the palate doesn't disappoint either, and it's equally rich on. And again, I'm an Isla guy, so I like the peaty, smoky whiskeys, but I appreciate all the different regions, and this is a great whiskey. So I'm giving it a 4.5.
All right.
Ooh,
Nice.
look at you.
We're close, Dougie. We're close.
And Zach, we can't get a rating from you because you don't have it yet.
Ralphie, what do you think?
I'm be with Helen Keller here. I'm gonna be in the threes. Maybe
Okay.
a 3.8.
Okay, 3.8 it is.
I don't like the smell for me, but the taste actually is pretty good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I don't get
I
any
like the
Pete out
taste,
of
but I
it.
don't like the smell.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Our special
Our
guest.
special guest
He's
tonight,
dated a
Christopher
lot, so
Britton.
he doesn't.
I'm a guest. I'm
Okay.
not sure that I'm special.
You've got it
I
rated
mean,
in
I
your
didn't ride
Scottish
the
voice.
short bus or anything. I'm not special. But,
Well,
Unless you're using that in the education professional
you know,
sense.
so
but-
Scottish voice.
I
Scottish.
love the Highland, whiskeys, and that's my thing. I'm going to put this at a 4.5 just because the nose is terrific, the flavors are terrific, the finish is terrific. So I'm giving it like a very, very high mark.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
For
And
the
I,
audience.
I like how there's a distinct, if you talk about the nose, you talk about the palate, and then you talk about the finish. All those are very distinct with this whiskey, and that's another thing I like about it.
Well, I like that. It's basically a almost even between the ratings, so to say.
Yeah.
So.
What do you mean? Even.
Well, we did 4.3, 4.5, then we did 3.8. Right. It's nice. That's nice. I'm not really a Scotch guy, but I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I really did. I did.
And I will repeat, the more that I
Well,
drink,
let's
the
use the
better the
present
taste.
tense. So we
Well,
were enjoying
so,
it.
I will say it's sweet. It's a little
is.
sweet,
It is.
right? And so I've always thought I'm a Scotch guy. I'm dabbling in bourbon a little bit, and I think that some of the like heavy duty bourbon drinkers I know would taste like some of the whiskeys and say, like a really heavy Isla, like a Lagavulin or something.
Sure.
So like, wow, that's so outside of my preference, And this is more like, so I can see where you'd like it because you love good bourbons, and it's got a little sweetness to it, and
But it's
a little spice on the
again,
finish.
right.
But
Right.
it still has a
And-
nice dry finish.
It
So
does, and
there's no cloyingness to the sweet.
I
that you get right
have
off the
that.
bat.
You're exactly right. I have that thing
Wow, that's good. Wow.
because I'm so used to
No,
bourbons and whiskeys. I'm not a huge Scotch guy, but I do compare my testings, how I review a bourbon, if you will. So maybe that's probably not the right thing to do, but
Well, no.
that's just bourbons are what I like. Scotches are secondary. Where in your guys' world, it's reversed. Same
Yeah.
thing, but reversed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just comparing it to
you're
what-
more Scotch than bourbon. So
What I
get it.
usually rank is like my favorites, my preferences. I give them high marks, obviously. So this one comes in very high based on like my preferences, and
Yeah.
that's basically.
But I remember, which is something that you brought up today, which was awesome. I remember giving you a sample of the Buffalo Trace single barrel,
That was
which
terrific.
is you can't. It does come to Ohio once every.
Was that a single barrel?
It was a
It
single.
was.
Oh,
It was.
I
Yeah,
thought it
yeah.
was off.
So I gave him.
I was like,
I gave him
damn,
a
this is
sample.
regular Buffalo
I told, and
Trace.
he
No.
didn't try it. I said, take it home and drink it. Take it
and
home.
this-
And
okay.
I gave him a sampler bottle.
That's
Yeah.
terrific.
And he came back and you said you actually said once a couple times on the show.
I did.
And then when you came back today and you said
Yep.
and then we were testing some Buffalo Trace today.
Yep.
And you said you reminded me of that, and I actually forgot about that. But so the appreciation, meaning that here's a guy that is predominantly Scotch, but he's not afraid to try some different things. But he was pleased, even though it's not his palate, so to say. He's like, that Buffalo Trace was nice, and
It was.
and we had a little sample today.
It was good.
beautiful. It was
It
beautiful.
was damn good.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. So, in
And
the
just,
interest of
just
time, we should probably
for the record,
what?
Glenn gives Highland Park a 4.7.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
There you go.
Highland Park 18, Glenn, is in my top 5, so I don't disagree at all. I think that's a pretty accurate scoring. Good job.
All right.
All
He's
right.
having
So,
fun tonight.
Let's get into the whiskey.
so
Wizard,
we're
please.
going to. This is a special whiskey wizard.
Very good show.
All
Yes.
about single malt.
Very good show.
Well, about Scotch whiskey in general, and then we get into the single malt region. So
It's about
enjoy,
11
and
minutes. About
we'll
11
see you guys in a little bit.
All right, we'll be right back, kids. Talk to you soon.
Hang tight.
Whiskey Wizard. It's the Whiskey Wizard.
Hello and welcome to the Whiskey Wizard, where we say that whiskey making takes scientific knowledge, an artisan's skill and dedication, and a bit of the wizard's alchemy of light, air, earth, and fire. So, to appropriately dive into Scotch Whiskey Month, I thought we should talk about what Scotch whiskey is, define the major categories that folks sometimes get confused by, and then we'll visit the various Scotch whiskey regions. Of course, quite simply, Scotch whiskey is malt whiskey or grain whiskey, or a combination of the two, that is made in Scotland according to certain legal specifications. Basically, these specifications are that it be made of only water and malted barley, while other permitted grains may be used. It must be mashed, fermented, and distilled to no more than 94.8% ABV, and then matured in oak casks not exceeding 700 liters for a minimum of 3 years in Scotland. Originally, all Scotch whiskey, the spelling here, of course, is W-H-I-S-K-Y with no E, was made from 100% malted barley. Whiskey made from 100% malted barley, produced and aged in a single distillery, is called a single malt whiskey. If other grains are added, and it's made at a single distillery, what you have is the less common single grain whiskey. Most single malt Scottish whiskies predominantly spend their time aging in first fill ex-bourbon casks. Some single malt offerings will then be finished in ex-sherry, port, rum, and other wine or spirit casks. Okay, so what is a blended Scotch whiskey? Up until the 1980s, most all the Scotch you saw in the store or the local bar were blended whiskeys, such as Johnny Walker, Chivas, Cutty Sark, and Dewar's. A blended whiskey uses the skills of a master blender to take a neutral grain spirit and then add to it a mix of single malt whiskeys of varying characteristics to achieve a desired consistent end product. Look, I'm not going to debate blended versus single malt whiskey. I'll just say to you that I'm a single malt guy. I'll leave it to you viewers to decide for yourselves. I'll admit to having had some blended and single grain Scotch that was very, very good. There's one last category to address, a vatted malt. A vatted malt is a whiskey which is simply a mixture of single malt whiskeys with no neutral grain spirit added. Johnny Walker Green Label is an example of a vatted malt. When you discuss Scotch whiskey, and especially single malt Scotch whiskey, you're going to be talking about its origins. Just as you have geographic identities for fine wines, so it is with single malt whiskeys. Where you might talk of a Bordeaux, Burgundy, or Napa Valley wine, you might be referring to your single malt as a Speyside, a Lowland, a Highland, an Islay, or a Campbelltown. It can be said that the Scotch whiskies have a terroir quality to them, just like wine, meaning the local elements of soil, climate, and proximity to the sea, etc., all influence the character of the finished whiskey. And whiskeys from those specific regions share a certain basic characteristic flavor profile. Of course, the methods of production characteristic to a given region also play a part, such as using a lot of peat for drying the malt. Such heavy peat use occurs in parts of Scotland where peat reserves are great and traditional use as a fuel for kilning is therefore most prevalent. I have this map here, courtesy of our friends at Nick's Wine Merchants down under in Australia. So here are the 6 regions: the Highlands, Speyside, Lowlands, Campbelltown, Islay, and the Islands. Some divided up slightly different ways, and I like to consider Skye and the Orkneys as their own regions. That's why I like this map. Some also look at the West Highlands as a distinct district as well. Okay, let's begin with the Highlands. Probably the 2 most famous Highland whiskies are Dalmore and Glenmorangie. There are over 25 Highland distilleries. Typical Highland whiskey flavors include fruitcake, malt, oak, heather, dried fruit, and smoke. The Highlands is Scotland's largest whiskey producing area, covering anywhere from the north of Glasgow, the Clyde estuary to the River Tay, and all the way up to Thurso in the north, not to mention the east and west regions excluding Speyside. So Speyside is kind of embedded within the Highlands, but is considered its own region. Speyside has by far the most and highest concentration of distilleries anywhere in Scotland, or the world for that matter. Most famous Speyside whiskies include the Macallan, Dalwhinnie, Glenlivet, and Glenfiddich. Typical Speyside flavors are apple, vanilla, oak, malt, nutmeg, and dried fruits. A few years back, I had the good fortune to be able to hike the Speyside Trail, passing by many of the distilleries along the River Spey and its surrounding highlands. The region of Speyside is located in the northeast of Scotland surrounding the River Spey. As we said, it's a sub-region to the neighboring highlands because of the high density of distilleries in the area. It's home to the highest number of distilleries in Scotland, with well over 60 distilleries at present. Speyside is known for its wide range of whiskies, displaying different characters, famously for dry to mildly sweet single malts, with either very little peat or absolutely no peat present at all. Speyside seemed to me to be clean and softly spiced, with a mild, accessible character. So down in the south, we have the Lowland Scotch whiskey region. Most famous Lowland whiskies include Auchentoshan and Glenkinchie. There are 4 active Lowland distilleries today. Typical Lowland flavor and aromas are fresh grass, honeysuckle, wildflowers, cream, to toffee, toast, and cinnamon. The Lowlands is the second biggest whiskey region in terms of the area it covers, but it's currently only home to the 4 active distilleries. The Lowland region covers the south of Scotland from the English border up to the north of Glasgow and Edinburgh, where it meets the border with the Highlands. A region I've personally been wanting to explore more is the Campbelltown whiskey region. The most famous Campbelltown whiskies include Glengyle and Springbank. Typical Campbelltown flavors include brine, sweet smoke, dried fruit, vanilla, and toffee. They typically have a sweet, light fruit to floral aroma. Campbelltown is actually part of the mainland of Scotland, but but it's found at the foot of the Mull, or peninsula, of Kintyre. And it was once a thriving whiskey hotspot with over 34 distilleries. However, now it's only home to just 3. Campbelltown is Scotland's first whiskey region, with Irish monks likely bringing to it the secrets of distillation sometime in the late 1200s. Now let's move a little bit to the north, and we have the small island known as Islay, spelled I-S-L-A-Y, which, despite its comparative small size, is its own Scotch whiskey region. As most regular viewers are aware, Islay whiskies are some of my favorites. I love how you can taste the salty, fresh sea air, along with rich layers of peat and smoke. And yet, with many, you still get the softer flavors of light fruit and toffee that also shine through, providing an incomparable balance. Dark chocolate with sea salt makes a great complement to these whiskeys. To me, Islay whiskeys simply taste like Scotland. The most famous Islay whiskeys include Ardbeg, Laphroaig, Lagavulin, and Bruichladdich. Number of distilleries there is about 10. So let's not forget one of my favorites, of course, Col Ila. The typical Islay flavor profile includes vanilla, sea salt, seaweed brine, carbolic soap, green apple, smoke, and even kippers. Some, like Lagavulin, include flavor elements reminiscent of a nice roaring campfire built somewhere on a seaside cliff. The Scottish island of Islay is located to the west of the mainland and is the smallest whiskey region in terms of area coverage in Scotland. Even though it is a relatively small island, Islay is currently home to 10 distilleries, 3 of which are world famous. Construction on an 11th is underway. Okay, last we have the Islands region. Most famous Islands whiskeys include Highland Park, Talisker, and Jura. Typical island flavors: smoke, brine, oil, black pepper, heather, and honey. Single malt Scotch produced on the islands surrounding the mainland of Scotland offer a very diverse and differing range of tastes and aromas. They're not, however, recognized by the Scotch Whisky Association, which simply lumps them in with the Highlands. Personally, I feel they deserve their own regional status. So next time we'll explore more about malting and peat and their role in Scottish whiskey making. Barley and peat, after all, are the things most quintessentially Scottish about Scottish whiskey. Well, I guess that's all until next time. This is Douglas Dunbar, the Whiskey Wizard, for the Whiskey Roundtable. So, slanja, and now, back to the live show. Which game?
We are back.
We're back, yeah.
I love your garb at the end. That was amazing.
Yeah, that's my little bit of my Dunbar plaids.
I've seen that
Yeah.
a number of times, most memorably in the town of Dunbar, Scotland, with the Dunbar Castle ruins in the background. We had the opportunity to photograph the Whiskey Wizard with the traditional Scottish garb, with his ancient family name Castle ruins in the background.
So,
A
Quite a
lady
good-
never asks.
Quite a
what
good
you,
night.
A lady never asks what you wear under your kilt, but I gotta know.
There was nothing under there, lass.
Nothing there but a thong.
just I got my sporran hanging, that's all.
Your spotting is hanging.
Some tasty waves and a
the
cool
hammer.
breeze.
That's what they call the hammer hang.
So,
All
we
you
do
ladies
have
who want a
a,
picture, it's
we-
only $10 a time, so
we do,
bring your camera.
we do have a castle at the town of Dunbar, which is on the southeast coast of Scotland. I have to say, it's not much more than a wee pile of rocks.
Honestly, yeah. it's a-
Because, they came
Pile
to
of rocks.
know that once cannons were developed, having a castle right on the ocean's not a great idea. And so today our family castle is a pile of rocks, and
But a nice pile of rocks.
yeah,
Very nice.
It's a very beautiful pile of
Very
rocks.
nice.
Very beautiful.
We
location.
have many photographs of it.
There's a great story about a lady who actually took over that kind of mantle of fighting the British there in Dunbar, but that's a whole show in and of itself. So.
Interesting.
So I'll add quickly.
Good.
That
good.
night, after taking the pictures of Douglas, we stayed at the Dunbar Inn, and we had a terrific night there. And a lot of there's 7 guys, on a Scotland trip doing the hiking and the drinking and we noticed that they had this big room overlooking the sea with the Dunbar Castle in the. But no one was in there, and they had their restaurant right next. And we said, "Can we have our dinner in there?" Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, wow.
So we ended up with this private dining room, this beautiful, beautiful old classic building, probably 200 years old, which is young for them.
Yeah.
And these huge windows looking out over the sea, and the Dunbar Castle ruins in the background, and we're all there. And they just brought our meals into us there, and we were there for about 5 hours. It was one of the greatest nights ever.
Nice.
Yeah.
Terrific,
Well,
absolutely.
Glenn,
terrific.
do you remember much about that
No,
night?
Glenn was asleep. We have pictures to prove it.
But I just have to say, it was funny because I went to pay my bill.
What?
And these little Scottish ladies back, it's time for the settling up. And so I went back in there, and I was joking, and I took out my credit card that had my name on it. Here I'm in the Dunbar Hotel in Dunbar, Scotland, and I said, I'll take the family discount, please. And they just looked at me in total. This is so Scottish. They go, "Oh no, dear, no discounts here." Totally serious.
Very,
I
very,
love it. I love it.
very
No,
Scottish.
No discounts.
Very
here.
Scottish. And I can
Anyway.
say that because of
Yes. Yeah,
this quarter of me that's
they're known to
Scottish.
be a little
Me
bit.
too. I'm Scottish
a
myself.
little bit frugal.
A wee bit.
I got
Scottish.
I got a
bit
quarter
frugal.
of me that's Italian, and then I have 3/4 of me that's Italian. But anyway, we'll come back to that.
Anyway,
So, Doug, we're getting a lot of comments about a spectacular whiskey wizard. Bravo. Great
Amen.
information.
The show was
It was
very,
really good.
I watched it twice.
Thank you.
It was
Thank
very,
you.
very
The-
good.
the-
Yeah, thanks, Doug.
The Whiskey
Fantastic.
Wizard.
Amen. Amen.
Let's have a toast to the
Salute.
Whiskey Wizard.
We
Not
do-
only this week, but every week. Thank
we
you,
do
Doug.
love that
as we
quality.
as we say in Italian, cheers.
Slanja.
We do like that quality of Scottish whiskey. That it does have a
I love
regional,
doing that.
does have a very regional quality to it.
I love you doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Too funny.
But anyway, I have to say though, the second time we went to Dunbar, same restaurant, same hotel, it was a kind of a different story. I went last summer with my kids, and they rolled out the red carpet.
Nice.
Nice.
When they saw my name, it was a totally opposite kind of experience. So
Nice.
you just never know. That just goes.
You
to show.
never do.
So you said that's the southeast part of Scotland.
Yeah. So it's probably 60
Southwest.
miles from England,
I thought it was
something like that.
Southwest.
Southeast.
Okay.
So if
Southeast
you,
then.
Edinburgh here, it's over here.
Very cool.
Nice.
Very cool.
On the Firth.
The who?
The Firth.
Oh my.
The first.
goodness.
Is that a river?
It's
What-
like
The Far River.
the inlet, if you will.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There's like a big inlet that goes into Scotland, kind of cuts it almost in half a little bit. And at the end of that is where Edinburgh is. Edinburgh is the coolest city. Everywhere looks like it's part of a Harry Potter movie.
It is
It's
a cool
just
place.
Full of these little alleyways and stairways into dark corners, and we went on a ghost tour. Anyway, we could do it, but everybody needs
Let's
to go
just-
there. In fact, in the next Whiskey Wizard, I'm going to put a montage of some of the travel things we did there.
Nice.
I think it'll be fun. So anyway,
Absolutely.
so what about Whiskey News? Is that where we are in the show? I think we do because we are past the normal.
Right.
You
I have
wanted
no.
to
No,
mention-
I have
Oh,
no
and
news.
then would
I
you?
lost my news.
Oh,
Sorry.
you lost.
I couldn't retrieve it.
But you have something that you
I
want
do,
to
but
talk about?
it's not.
No, not that.
Go
What are
ahead.
you doing this weekend?
Oh yeah, what's
shit.
tell?
What am I
Yeah,
doing
what?
this week?
I know. I wanted to ask you what you guys are up to.
Holy cow. Well, all right. So, Derek Pilarczyk, my brother, as I call him, we're very close. Rollin Smoke Barbecue.
One of our
We're
sponsors.
doing-
One of our great sponsors,
Exactly
yes.
right. So I have a cigar event going on this weekend. Roll Havana Cigars, and we're
They're another one of our sponsors.
They're
Yes.
another one of our sponsors. Correct.
So two of our
So
sponsors.
two of our sponsors. So Derek's doing the cooking on Sunday after the golf outing, which will be held at the golf outing. I don't even know where they're playing golf, nor do I care. But we'll be cooking for the after golf outing, so to say. So that's on Sunday, and that'll be a long day. And Saturday, tomorrow, we're doing a cigar rolling event, and we have a couple of rollers from Cuba coming in to do our stuff. They
Cool.
sent the tobacco and everything there. And a new friend of mine, Greg Bays, from Cleveland Plumbing Supply. I've known him for a long time, but he just got into cigars and bourbon, and so we were able to get him to come out tomorrow. So it'll be interesting for him.
All right.
I can tell just by Derek and talking and everything else that he's not ready for tomorrow. So
No?
he's not.
He doesn't. I mean, he doesn't know what's
So
in
yeah, I
store.
mean, we're going to be outside tomorrow. I'm sure. I don't want to be inside tomorrow. I want to be outside tomorrow. And we have canopies and all that stuff. And a couple of guys from the Cleveland Bourbon Co-op will be out there as well. And Mark Anderson and Steve Crooks will be out there. And excuse me. And we're going to sit down and try some fresh rolled Cuban cigars. And we're going to have a little bourbon and a little rye whiskey, and we're going to do our thing. So
How can you beat that?
you can't beat that. So
Sounds pretty good.
I'm going to try and get there between 4 and 5 tomorrow, and I think Derek's going to meet me out there. I think Greg's coming out. I don't know if he's coming out with Derek or by himself, but it'll be nice to get. And he's a Maduro guy like me. Greg's a Maduro guy like me, so it has something to do with the name. So. So I don't know if Bays is, all I can say, Greg, if you're watching, put your seatbelt on. So things about to get real. So he's going to enjoy every minute of it. He's a Maduro guy just like I am. And not only are the cigars that we're going to smoke, the fresh rolled cigars, but our house brand and all kinds of different stuff that we have. So I look forward to it. I'm excited about it. So I'm going to prep everything tomorrow, get all the food prepped. And I gotta go pick up my smoker tomorrow and do all that stuff. And Sunday, me and Derek I should say, will put his magic on like he always does, and we look forward to it every year. So that's my weekend, kids.
Sounds like a
Well,
great
I
time.
mean,
Sweet.
You'll be busy.
I
but,
might tag along. I
It
might
doesn't
tag
sound
along.
like
Come on.
too bad of a thing to be
Looking
doing.
for some activities tomorrow
Well,
while we're visiting in town.
If
We
you
may
want to smoke cigars and drink a little bourbon and
Oh,
stuff,
he.
come on.
I don't think
Will any of the
that's-
cigars
That
be
doesn't sound like anything he would like.
any of the cigars be maybe soaked in some Scottish whiskey, or
We can arrange.
we
that.
could arrange
We
it?
can arrange
I could
that.
actually soak
do
it
that.
myself.
Yeah,
Yes, you
amen.
could.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
No, it's cool.
All right.
It's cool.
Well,
So, Big G, I know
I'll
you
be
don't.
there. I'll be there.
We look forward to seeing you guys,
you.
both of you.
And
Guys,
thank you.
if you
Yeah,
can.
we will discuss that.
Zackalicious,
with,
you too.
Zackalicious.
Zach is coming.
He's working.
Oh my God!
I don't know if Sidecar's going to be able to make it tomorrow, but we'll figure that out.
Zach will be there. I'll be by to pick you up.
I'm skipping tomorrow. It's
I'll be
fine.
by to pick you up.
He's got work to do. He's
I'll be
busy.
by to pick
Such
you up.
a work, such a busy guy.
Busy, worky.
I know.
So,
Oh, you were-
Ralph bought me the cigar, and
I was going to ask you, since you don't have news today, I think your news is, how is that Andalusian Bull burning?
it's very good until I just tore the wrapper. But anyway, I've been smoking it for less than a half hour, and I'm smoking right through it because I like it so well.
So what makes it a good cigar to you?
You know what? It is these are known to be a little bit more than a medium body, but not quite a full body. But so far, I've gone through the first series of the cigar, and I'm into the second series, and it really hasn't changed a whole bunch. And it's a great cigar, man. It's very, very consistent. The structure of the cigar is very good.
Nice.
And I love it. The flavor. I mean, I get leather out of it. I get a little mocha out of it. It's a nice smoke, man. It really is. Great cigar. And again, these are obsolete. You can't find them anymore. So Ralph was sidecar, if you will.
But if
If
people came to the event, they could find something like it, or
I don't know if they would
certainly
find
there'd be a
anything
pick
like
of good
it,
cigars.
but you know,
find you some good cigars.
I mean, these cigars retail at the cigar lounge when we had them. You know, they were $25 cigars.
Mm.
Now they're obsolete, so you know you can triple that price. You know, so I do have a box of these. I have a box of 10. They come in a box of 10, and I had on back order for over a year 3 boxes. And ended up, they said, we're never going to get the 3 boxes. Can we give you something else? So they gave me some other La Flor Dominicanas that we don't really see too much in Ohio, like whiskey sometimes. And I packed them away as well. So, you know, people tell me, open them up, light them, you know, smoke them, enjoy them. I'm not that guy. I'm just not that guy. So I'm just one of these guys. I'm more of a collector than I am an enthusiast, so to say. So
I could be your enthusiast. I mean, I'll volunteer, and you don't even have to pay me or anything.
So
it takes
it's
3
funny.
interviews.
It's
What's
funny.
next
So
week's whiskey?
So we were out. Derek and Jen and me and
The
Karen. We
Maker's
were
Cup.
out a couple weeks back, and we went and had a great lunch and all that stuff. And we
Dina's.
Dina's, and we stopped over at Kurt's house. It was Corey's birthday, so to say. You guys, I know a lot of you guys don't know what I'm talking about. That's fine. But at the end of the day,
Welcome to my world.
yeah, right. So at the end of the day, Greg Bays got into cigars and a little bit of bourbon, if you will, and he's more of a cigar guy rather than a bourbon guy, but that's cool. And so I, as cigar guys do, I've met more people that I'm friends with today over something as simple as a cigar.
Yeah, sure.
It's something
Yeah.
simple as a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave Derek, I gave him a sun-grown Perdomo cigar. I said, take this to Greg, because Greg has let me know what his palate is. So I sent him a Perdomo sun-grown, which is a medium body, which is one of the best
that sounds like me.
best
That
cigars
sounds like
I've
me.
ever smoked.
Yeah, I'm a
And
body dark.
and Greg was a little taken back by that.
If you
So
will smoke cigars.
you know,
if I did smoke.
Derek did, tell him about the event,
As far
so
as
he
you
wants
know.
to be a part of it, and that's cool. So I'm excited to teach him some new things. So it's going to be a good time tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. I'm
Well,
excited.
Well, I
All
think
of
we
this-
should. We should be there. We should be there.
Yeah.
All the stories you're telling, Greg said he is still watching, and now he is very aroused. So
Okay.
Well, let's
I
not
didn't know
go
you were
there.
watching.
Let's
Okay.
not go
Okay.
there. But I have to say, I really appreciate being able to come back. This is just so much fun. It's so enjoyable, to just be with the group here. But one thing I noticed is that you guys have some sponsors. Like
We
I know
do.
the Rayon Cognac people,
Right,
and that's awesome. And then what were some of the other ones that?
So we have Chagrin Valley Liquors, which I don't even think is on
Chagrin
the.
Valley Beverage, it is.
I always
They are.
say I
It
always
is on the-
I always screw it up.
Chagrin
I
Valley
always screw it up.
Beverage.
Chagrin Valley Beverage. if
Okay,
you will.
cool.
On
That's
the east
great.
side at Richmond and Emery
Right.
Roads.
And we
Of
have
course, the Cleveland Bourbon Co-op.
Cleveland Bourbon Co-op.
Great.
Cleveland Bourbon Co-op has been spectacular. Can't say enough about the group. The things that they do for other people is amazing.
Great.
All the different fundraisers and everything else they do, and I'm glad to be a part of that. Village Martini is my nephew. He's got 2 places. He's got that and the Clifton Martini. The food there is top-notch, gourmet. It's not cheap, but I'll tell you what, the service is fantastic.
You get what you
the
pay
food's-
for.
The food is even better.
Yeah. Good.
And they have an unbelievable whiskey bar, and which I include scotch in there as well,
Yeah.
because my nephew is a connoisseur of wine. Is his preference. He has some of the best wine you'll ever drink.
Love wine.
And he is also a bourbon guy, and he does his thing.
Well,
That's
let's not forget Roll and Smoke Barbecue
Roll and Smoke
and
Barbecue.
Roll and
Royal
Smoke
Havana
Barbecue.
Royal Havana
Cigars,
Cigars,
which
absolutely.
is what you're doing all this weekend.
And last but not
Royal Havana Cigar.
Royal Havana
Royal
Cigars.
Havana Cigars.
last but not least is Simply Greek.
Simply Greek.
Simply Greek.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh.
Amazing Greek
Yeah,
food.
Fantastic
he
Greek
does.
We,
food. Yeah.
Shauna and you
Yeah,
and
we
Greg
ate
and I
there
went
one
there.
night.
Leg of lamb and everything, or lamb
Oh.
chops. She had lamb chops.
She
lamb
had
chops.
those.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
Pete's a great guy, man. I've known Pete for a long time.
Good.
He was great.
And he has a couple of different
Good people.
locations.
That's a
Very
great
good,
place
yeah.
to go. And where are they located? Where is that? again?
They're in Solon
Solon.
on 43 and 91, right there in the little plaza.
Well, hey, look, we've run well over
Yes,
our
we
normal
have.
time. So what do you guys? Why don't we say we'll save the news for next week?
That's
we'll
right.
just add it on to next week's
How about some last words?
show and go
love
with the
these.
last words.
I love the last.
I don't know
words.
if I have any. Well, we have to do our normal thing too. Let's remind everybody that we're still on single malt month here
Yes.
for 2 more weeks, and as Chris and I prepare for our high-low wilderness trip, which is the first week of September. So we're not going to do. Well, I won't be here to do shows on the
For
first
what?
2 Fridays in September. So.
Perfect. No.
We'll be out in the
So we'll
wilderness.
have a great show.
We're
Sure,
in
we'll have a
our,
great show then.
30,
I'm
30,
sorry.
30,
Subscribe to our YouTube page if you're not already. Follow us on Facebook. If you have questions, comments, or you want to be a guest on the show, go ahead and
Next week we have.
comment on Facebook or email us at thewhiskeyroundtable@gmail.com.
Hey, next week we have Albert Santillan.
And Albert Soundtilly, a
jazz
good friend of
ensemble.
the
Nice.
North Coast Jazz
Yeah.
Ensemble, a good friend of the show, will be on as a guest. I'm looking forward to that.
Yep, that'll be
And
fun.
we're going to do next week, we're featuring the
Makers.
Glenn Roth's Maker's Cut.
Maker's Cut.
And so, closing. So, to honor Scotch Whiskey Month, this one comes from a Scottish Highland distillery. 2 men were lamenting the death of a dear friend and colleague. And it goes, "MacDougall's dead," the first man said. "He fell into a vat of whiskey." "What a shame," said the second. "Were it a quick death?" The first man responded, "I did not think so. He came out twice to go to the bathroom." All right, everybody.
All right, kids.
Thank you.
We'll
All
see you
right.
next week. Be safe and enjoy. It's supposed to be a great weekend.
Yeah, have a great weekend. Thank you.
Amen. All right. Big G, Whiskey Roundtable.
Karen Helen Keller,
Doug Dunbar.
Christopher Snyder.
Chris, thanks for coming out
a.k.a.
tonight.
Frail
Yes,
Bear.
thank you, Chris.
Frail
Great
Bear.
show.
We'll see you all next week.
All
Thank
right.
you. Bye
Good
bye.
night.
If whiskey stopped working, every bar in town would be closing their doors, shutting down. Everybody would be trapped with their thoughts, 'cause nothing else would pay like bourbon or scotch. Oh no, oh no, no. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably wasting lots of money trying therapy. If whiskey stopped working, what the hell then where the hell would I be? Probably halfway out of this town, leaving Tennessee. If whiskey stopped working